Hello and welcome to Gabbit Media. I'm Grant Abbott and today I'm going to be launching the categories for aniMAYtion. aniMAYtion19 or 2019. So hashtag aniMAYtion19. That's our special hashtag. Make sure you use it. Anyway, so categories. I'll make them come up on the screen here, hopefully, all going well. So you can see, I thought I'd make a video because then I can go through the categories, and if you're confused at all by any of them, maybe English isn't your first language, for example, then you've got this video and I'll explain what's going on. So the first one is bounce. So a nice simple one to start off with. So it could be a bouncing ball. It could be, I don't know, a bouncing rock. That's weird though. A bouncing billiard ball. So that's sort of like really heavy. Maybe things could break, I don't know. But the simple thing, just to warm us up and get us in the frame of mind of doing animation, a bouncing ball is a nice simple one. So if you're a beginner, or maybe even an intermediate like myself, then a simple bouncing animation, maybe a bit of squash and stretch in there might be challenging for you, or very simple bouncing animation if you're really new to it. So that's just the starter. And then that's in grey, as you can see there. So it's the very first one. The ones in blue after that, so Friday the 3rd is idle. So as in an idle animation that you'd expect to see a character when they're standing still. They have that sort of breathing and maybe they're looking about, maybe they're sort of folding their arms and sort of tapping, looking at their watch or something like that. That's a nice idle animation. So it can be quite extreme, or it can just be a character that's just doing his breathing. They tend to breathe really deeply, these idle animations. So something simple like that. So those sort of animations are in blue. So those are the types of things that could be cycles. So like you get an idle cycle, one run cycle and walk cycle. They don't have to be though. In yellow, I was thinking that's going to be sort of for our more facial animations. So we've got different expressions there. So the 6th, the 13th, the 20th and the 27th are all these sort of yellow categories, and they're supposed to be expressive. So angry, so you could have, I was thinking actually, I've seen some animation school or something, I can't remember, one of the ones online, Animation Mentor I think it is, and they take sort of clips from films or audio from films, usually old films, because then you can get away with the copyright, and obviously if you want to use this in your portfolio and so forth, you've got to be a bit careful, but they grab some audio from films and then they animate the facial expressions. So you could do that, or you could just record yourself doing something. Then you'll definitely be out of copyright and you don't have to worry. But recording yourself is quite a good idea, so that might be quite useful for those four, if you're able to record yourself. So have your sort of screaming fit at the camera. For your angry, loving, you can do some loving expressions. Excited, you can be all happy. You could use the upper body as well. You could use the whole body if you really want to, but the focus is meant to be on the face for some sort of facial animation, and hopefully some lip syncing in there if you're, in the intermediate to advanced category. You might want to try that. So we've got the sort of light blues. We've got idle, walk, run, jump. I thought somersault and dance is sort of, you could have a sort of dance cycle or a walk cycle. I suppose they do in Fortnite, don't they, have a sort of dance cycle. And somersault cycle I'm not so sure about, but I thought those would be quite sort of fairly basic ones, but they're sort of pushing it a bit more. They're certainly more than a bouncing ball. So that's the idea, we're sort of building up. And the last three, the superhero, fight and sports, I'm expecting something a bit more, perhaps. Maybe by that point you're getting a bit more comfortable with animation. Even as a beginner, you might be sort of edging into the sort of intermediate category after all this practice. So maybe you can have a go at, perhaps the superhero can sort of do some sort of Superman flight and then a land. The classic, as Deadpool points out, the landing on the knee, very bad for the joints or whatever he says. You could have something like that, or maybe zapping someone. You could even, if you're really advanced, well, maybe not so advanced actually, something I could even do, is sort of particles and zaps or fireballs or something. If you're a superhero, could be quite fun. So along those lines would be, I think that'd be a fun one anyway. Then there's fight, so a sort of fight scene between two characters if you're a bit more advanced, or just a sort of karate type kata, or kung fu type kata. They're not katas in kung fu, whatever they are in kung fu, the forms they call them, don't they? So you could do one of those in sort of, then it's a singular person rather than two people. A fight scene with two people is quite complex, so that might be a bit too tough, but see how you go. If you're an advanced animator, you might choose that one. And then lastly is sports. So it could be sort of like cricket, rugby, football. I play football, so it might be a football one, but I do like watching rugby, so it might be a rugby one. Football's quite good because there's sort of kicking action and things like that. It could be gymnastics even, so you could go back sort of a bit like the fight or the superhero. Try not to repeat yourself, try and do something different. So obviously dance is a sport and gymnastics is a sport, and we've got somersault in there, so maybe steer clear of those, but it's up to you. It's your practice, it's your time, and the main thing is to have fun and learn something from it. Yes, there are some prizes. We've been sponsored by Cintique, which is fantastic. They're going to give 3 months free subscription. Cintique is brilliant, and if I would strongly recommend, I think they do a week for free. I would look at their basic animation course. It's really, really good. So have a look at that, and you'll get a lot out of it. I know we haven't got much time left before animation, a few days, but still worth looking at. But 3 months, that's brilliant. Thank you very much to Cintique. Wonderful that you're sponsoring us. And also Sketchfab, they're giving away a Sketchfab Pro account, and I think it'd be really great if you showed your animations on Sketchfab. I'm not just saying that because they've sponsored me with the last video and things. It's because it's a really good place to show off your animations. It really is. And I want to be showing people's animations when I go through the videos, which I'll talk about in a second. And it's a really great place to sort of circle around animations and see every different aspect and little bits to the animation. So rather than just seeing it flat on, I mean, that might be how you want to show it, but being able to move around is really key. And to be able to show off your animations in that way as a portfolio piece, great site. I love Sketchfab, I really do. It's fantastic. So 2 sponsors there, thank you very much to those 2. So in terms of videos, I'm hoping all going well. I never say it's definitely going to happen, but I've stuck to it with Sculpt January and things like that. So for each of these days, I want to release a video the day before showing me going through the process. So the bounce, for example, on the Tuesday, all going well, I will release a video of me doing the bounce, and then I can do a commentary, talk through, and maybe for those beginners particularly, you can see what I'm doing. Not that I'm a great animator, but I would call myself intermediate. So that's why I'm doing this, because I want to learn as well. And maybe some of you advanced people can look at me and say, haha, you're doing it all wrong, but at least tell me how I need to improve. That would be very helpful. But for those beginners, I can sort of talk through, maybe here I'm using the graph editor to get the bounce or whatever it might be. And perhaps other aspects that you may not have picked up. So that would hopefully be useful for a beginner who's struggling to think how they're going to approach the subject. So I'm going to try and release those a day early so that people can watch them and then do the animation the next day. That's my thinking anyway. So yes, so there'll be sort of, I think there's 14 in total, so there'll be 14 videos for you to watch. So after it's all finished, and assuming that you get to the end, you'll be put forward for the prizes. So at the 2nd of June, so you've got sort of 2 days grace, as it were, the Saturday and Sunday. The 2nd of June will be the closing date. So we'll be, well, I say will be, hopefully my one admin and me, thanks Javid, we're going to go through and just check that you've completed all the animations. And again, they don't have to be complicated. It's about learning, so do them to the best of your ability, or the time that you have. You might want to set yourself a time limit on these. I know lots of people are working and trying to make a life as an animator as a second career if they possibly can. So if you can spend half an hour on one of these, quickly putting together an animation, then that's brilliant, and that's enough. If you can spend 3 hours, then wonderful. Looking forward to seeing your work, as it were. So the 2nd of June is the deadline. So there'll all be, and I'll obviously do a video saying well done to the winner, and then you'll get your subscription and to Cintique and your Sketchfab Pro subscription as well. So looking forward to seeing all your animations. I'm quite excited about this, as you can probably tell in my voice. And I'm tired already from just I've had a big project on, so I'm already tired, but I know it's going to be tough tough going. It always is with these challenges, but you learn so much through them, you really do. I've been doing the Sculpt January one for the last 2 years, and my sculpting has improved an awful lot, I feel like, anyway. I hope other people would agree. So I'm really hoping that my animation will improve, because that's one area that needs to improve. I like modeling and texturing, texture painting, but animation's quite tough, and for me anyway. So I'm looking forward to being the whole package as a creator, 3D creator. So that's why I'm taking on this challenge. Hopefully you've got your reasons as well, and you're going to be excited about it. And make sure you are posting your work regularly, then I will show it. If you hashtag aniMAYtion, I might even pick it up on things like Twitter and stuff. That would be helpful. Obviously the Discord server or the Facebook group are the main two sites for me to find your work and to show it on the videos. So usually we get I get about, I don't know, about 1,000 people watching, 1,000 views for things like Sculpt January, perhaps a bit more, about 2,000 sometimes. So there will be that many people looking at your work, potentially, unless everybody thinks that guy is a rubbish animator, I'm not listening to anything he says. That's a possibility, but maybe your work can help me out, and they'll say, oh, that guy's good, and then they'll watch it because of your work. So I'm starting to babble now, I can tell. I better stop. So hope you're excited as I am, and really looking forward to seeing your work. Make sure you do join the Discord server and the Facebook group to chat about things, offer inspiration, and yeah, so on. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.